Stimulus checks, stimulus bills, and SSI payments. In order to get more stimulus checks and stimulus assistance passed for the American people, the Senate Majority Leader is now trying to make some big changes in the Senate. He wants to remove the filibuster, which will only allow Democrats to send out more stimulus payments faster than ever before.
I'm not sure it's changed anything, but we sure have learned a lot in this process. But I rise today to rebut what I believe is a grave misleading of the American people. Before I get into the details, let me tell you a little bit about where I come from in my political background. I've been involved in public service in my state of West Virginia for over 40 years.
In case you didn't know, the whole goal of this channel is to provide you with the most important and up-to-date stimulus check information. I just want to do my very best in providing you folks with stimulus check news, SSI, Social Security, and SSDI news. So it really means a lot to me if you folks can subscribe to the channel.
And or I could put a bill in committee and it would go through committee. It would go to the floor if it came out. I could get amendments on it.
I know many of you are worried about what Democratic senators like Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin because they don't want to support abolishing the filibuster. Well, there are at least 2 of the 50 Democratic senators, like I said, Manchin of West Virginia and Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, that are opposed to abolishing the filibuster.
I'm going to continue to make the case why it's so important to not turn the electoral process over to political persons who are set up deliberately to change it.
But still, the president's approval rating has been dropping. Biden's approval rating is down to 42% in the poll averages, with the last poll showing just 33% of adults in his corner, and worse among other Democratic groups. This is not good news for the president, so I'm sure he wants to get his Build Back Better bill passed through Congress as soon as possible. That's done to get more relief out to the American people. Now I know that many of you are confused as to how President Biden's Build Back Better plan can help you. Well, here's what I want you to know. Among the Build Back Better bill's prescription price provisions, one provision would set a $35 monthly cap for insulin on Medicare, beneficiaries, and those with private insurance. Medicare Part D plans will not be able to change and charge more than $35 a month for the insulin products that they cover in 2023 and 2024. And Biden's bill would also provide extra assistance for jobless Americans to buy health insurance. The American Rescue Plan currently provides those who receive at least 1 week of jobless benefits in 2021. So with generous federal subsidies so they can select the Affordable Care Act policies, with monthly premiums as little as $0. The Build Back Better bill would also extend this measure through 2022. It is also great how the bill will provide families with $65 per child every single month through 2023 and 2024. The measure is modeled in part of the Crisis EBT program that was created at the start of the crisis to replace meals that were missed when schools were closed. This program gives families roughly $375 per child like the past summer did. This is really good news because there are many families that are struggling to even pay for necessities. So it's really great to see that President Biden is kind of doing what it takes to send out more payments.
You mentioned Republicans and reaching out to them. Some Republicans who may be open to major changes on voting rights, for instance, like Mitt Romney, he says he never even received a phone call from this White House. Why not?
I like Mitt. Look, Mitt Romney's a straight guy. One of the things that we're doing, I was trying to make sure we got everybody on the same page in my party on this score. And I didn't call many Republicans at all. The fact is that I do think that Mitt is a serious guy. I think we can get things done. I predict to you they'll get something done on the electoral reform side of this. But rather than judge what's going to get done and not get done, all I can say is
now that Build Back Better is sort of stalled, what are House Democrats doing now to address inflation?
Well, it's my expectation that we are going to revisit in short order the Build Back Better Act in the context of making sure that we can lower child care costs, lower health care costs, lower the high cost of life-saving prescription drugs, lower housing costs, and lower energy costs, all of which the Build Back Better Act will do. And these are all provisions that, by and large, Senator Joe Manchin supports. It's my expectation that as soon as this voting rights issue is resolved, hopefully favorably, hopefully in the next day or so, but if it's not, we'll always live to fight another day in defense of our democracy, inspired to do so by John Lewis and others, Dr. King, and their spirits. But I do believe that the Senate, in short order, will revisit the Build Back Better Act and we're going to be able to get something over the finish line in terms of addressing inflation. Today, the Judiciary Subcommittee on Antitrust is holding a hearing on some of the issues in terms of market power and consolidation related to the food industry and meat processors and the dynamics that exist there, because we do believe there's a lot of pandemic price gouging that is taking place that we, under the leadership of Chairman David Cicilline, will begin to expose and elevate today.
I just
Go to the back. Yeah, who hasn't spoken yet, and then we'll circle back.
There's an increasing number of progressive primary challengers for House Democrats who these candidates see as out of step with the Democratic Party, more moderate members. Is this a sign that the party is no longer a big tent party and there's a competition between ideologies, or can you respond to that?
Well, House Democrats, we're not a cult, we're a coalition. We're a coalition of a variety of different people all across the country. That's progressives, that's New Dems, that's Blue Dogs, all points in between. And primaries are part of the democratic process. And the House, at the end of the day, is about renewal. I expect that every incumbent is going to aggressively defend their records. And at the end of the day, make the strongest possible case that they can, myself and Pete included, in our own respective races, as to why we should have our 2-year employment contract renewed. I don't think primary challenges are a sign of any dysfunction. It's a sign of democracy working.
Wanted to ask you again about stocks. Last week you said that you hadn't had a chance to take a look at any specific proposals, but we had a couple bills come out last week. Congresswoman Angie Craig says that she wants to start the conversation about why leadership is against this. So wanted to get your take, just kind of normatively. Like,
who in leadership is against this?
Huh? Speaker Pelosi.
Okay.
I wanted to get your take on this. Like, normatively speaking, do you see something like a blind trust or just kind of a ban on trading individual stocks while in office as something?
I appreciate your enthusiasm on this issue, but let me try to be as clear as I can be. As the chair of the House Democratic Caucus, I don't get out ahead of members when there are ongoing discussions about how to deal with issues of importance to them. We've got multiple bills that have been introduced by a variety of different members that are going to be before the committees of jurisdiction. None of those members has talked to me yet about their perspectives as to why their bill or this issue should move forward. Is it an important issue? Yes. Is it an issue that I'm going to comment on ahead of these members? No. Other than to say my own view speaks for itself. My financial disclosure statements